Hey guys, what's up? It's Titan here and welcome back to a brand new video which is going to be a Call of Duty World War II trailer breakdown slash thoughts. However, I won't be just talking about what we can see in this trailer, but I will also talk about facts which will be in the game and also some of the new features that we never seen in a Call of Duty game yet. And of course, we'll be mentioning the war mode and I will be explaining what it actually is about just to avoid a lot of confusion and guessing about the game. So let's jump straight into it, and the first interesting thing that pops up in the trailer is a person with a close-up shot who is wearing a gas mask. Now, a lot of people were wondering why are there gas masks in the game, but I'm here to tell you that since there are gas masks, there are also gas grenades in World War II, which is actually something new. It pretty much reminds me of Battlefield 1. The only thing which is not a fact and the only thing that I'm not sure of is that if you can equip a gas mask when there's like a gas grenade being thrown at you or on the map to avoid damage like you did in Battlefield 1. But one thing is for sure, which is we got gas grenades. The next scene that's worth talking about and mentioning is this dude shooting with a mounted turret. Now, these types of turrets can be found on the map mounted on specific locations, but obviously you would be a standing target. However, this thing has literally no recoil at all since it's standing on a bipod or tripod, whatever you want to call it, which leads to our next big topic, which are divisions. Now, a lot of people are confused about how divisions are going to replace the create a class system, but it's definitely not that big of a deal. So let me just explain how divisions actually work. So you got your 5 divisions in total and each of them have their own specific perks and abilities. Now, when I say abilities, don't get scared. I don't mean specialist powers or weapons or anything like that. However, just to give you an example, the Mountain Division, which are the snipers, have a new ability, which is a new game mechanic or game feature, whatever you want to call it as well, where if you scope in and hold your breath, you actually start to see that everything outside your scope or peripheral vision starts blackening out until everything will be black except your scope, so you can focus more on your shot. And there's also something else which comes with this, which is the game sound will be also completely muted while holding your breath for even more focus. So it's pretty much like you get so much focus that you close everything that's going around you and you focus only on your shot. However, since this is the Mountain Division's special ability, with other divisions you will not be able to do this. So for example, if you play with the division that only has shotguns and then you go on and pick up a sniper rifle from the ground and try holding your breath with it, your peripheral vision will not get blackened out and instead you will just have a normal vision, and of course you won't be able to hold your breath as long as the Mountain Division would. And of course the snipers also have a specific perk just for them, which is they are able to hold their breath way longer than anybody else. Also, lastly, if you choose a division, in our case, for example, the Mountain Division, which are the snipers, and if you spawn into a match, you will only be able to use snipers or DMRs from your classes. So with that said, the shotgunners are only able to use shotguns and so on. Also, shotgunners have a special ability, which is they are able to use incendiary shotgun shells. They also have a specific perk, which is explosive resistance, which allows them to take less damage from grenades and noob tubes. LMGs also have a different ability, and they are able to use a tripod anywhere on any surface, which will give them absolutely zero recoil and will make their shots more accurate. So this is how divisions will work in this game, so you can still customize your weapons. However, when you join a game and you select, for example, one of your classes, which is the Mountain Division, it doesn't mean that you cannot change to a different division or to a different class. You can do that. However, with the Mountain Division, you only are able to choose snipers, and with the LMG division, you're only able to choose, LMGs and so on. Finally, moving on, next up we got a bayonet charge, which you guys might be familiar with from Battlefield 1. It works almost the same as in that game. However, you are not able to sprint as much with it, so it's more like a close quarter bayonet charge. Maybe when you go around the corner and you know, you just charge someone. And next up we got the Purifier, which a lot of people were confused about and thought that this may be a specialist, but it is nothing of that sort. It is actually a score streak which you can use if you get 500 points. So it's a pretty low to medium score streak. The way it works is that whenever you get it and call it in, you will get a meter that will start filling up as you use the Flamethrower. If you are curious what happens if you die and you still have some use left from the Flamethrower, you will still be able to call it in as long as your meter fills up. As for the damage, it is way better than the Purifier from Black Ops 3 since you just need to touch someone and they instantly die. So there's no delay like it is in Black Ops 3 where if you purify someone they are still able to shoot back for like 1 or 2 seconds. Now of course this can still change, but right now this is how it is. The next really interesting scene, which is something new in Call of Duty as well, where we can see our soldier putting on a silencer attachment on a submachine gun. Now, since I don't know this 100%, I will just assume that this is the submachine gun division specific ability where you can actually put a silencer on and off your weapon. This is exactly the same as in Counter-Strike where you are also able to put a silencer and take it off as well if you wanted during combat. So this is something new that wasn't in Call of Duty yet. One thing to note is that using the silencer will put you in a big disadvantage because there's a noticeable damage and range reduction that actually comes with it. Next up, it is worth to mention that obviously we have gore. A lot of people wanted gore back, so pretty much here you go. We just saw a soldier's legs getting blown off by a damn grenade. The next really important scene is the paratroopers, where we see two people parachuting down onto the map, and to avoid the confusion, people thought that this was how you spawned into the game, which is of course not true. This is also a score streak which you can call in. These are of course not real players, but they are AI controlled score streaks. Next up, we also have something that I'm still unsure of. We got a plane crashing into a building in the middle of a multiplayer match. Now, this could either mean when you shoot down a score streak from the air, this is what might, actually look like, or it could also illustrate that we will have some sort of destructible buildings in the game that might even change how the map looks like or, it's played. Next, we do have a plane shooting down on troops. If you guys don't know what this is, it is actually a score streak as well, and the way it works is when you call it in, there will be a plane coming down from above, and you can't control where it moves. However, you can fire down on troops. So just imagine a hellstorm being called in, except this is just a plane. Also, as soon as it is a couple of meters above the ground or surface, it will start to just fly away. The next scene is the most unfortunate thing ever. People didn't know if we were able to physically hold a melee weapon in our hand or not, but sadly we are. So melee weapons are back in the game. So just like in Black Ops 3, you can use a melee weapon instead of a secondary pistol, which is of course a one-hit kill. So melee runners are already confirmed. Next up, we got a sniper kill, and we already spoke about the sniper and its division and specific ability. What I didn't mention is that the snipers are extremely powerful. From what I've seen and researched, this sniper is a one-shot, one-kill 99% of the time. Then in the next scene, we got another score streak, which is pretty easy to guess by now, but if you guys didn't know yet, this is also like a hellstorm, except you're only dropping one bomb, and you're also able to control where it lands as it's falling down. And finally, we got to the final and maybe most important scene, which is the war mode. Now, so many people are still confused about the war mode and what you have to do, how it's played, and what I'm going to mention are all in the game and facts. And of course, what I mentioned before were also all facts, except when I did state that I'm not like 100% sure or something. So war mode is a pretty long game mode which can last even up to 30 minutes. Now, here you have a different set of smaller tasks combined into a bigger one, which I will mention in a second. However, you also have something called the Axis or the Allies, which means if your playing as the Axis, you will be defending, and allies, of course, you would be attacking. So you can imagine Safeguard, it's same business, but it looks way more fun and lasts way longer due to these, you know, smaller and longer tasks that you will need to complete in this game mode. The first task is you will need to defend or attack a smaller fortress. The way you do this is that, alright, for the sake of this explanation, I will be only mentioning the attackers, which are the allies. You will just need to push them further back. So that was phase 1, all you had to do is just push the Axis further back. The next task will be rebuilding a bridge. Now this looks insanely fun, but it's also really hard because the Axis who are defending can just place turrets in the windows in, you know, specific locations, and they have a pretty decent line of sight if you're trying to rush and, you know, rebuild that bridge. The way the bridge is being rebuilt is if you get close to it, it's better to prone and use tons and tons of smoke grenades and work as a team, because alone you will not be doing this for sure. Once the allies manage to rebuild the bridge and push the Axis even back further, the next task is to blow up their supplies. And of course they would have to defend against that. Now this can be compared to demolition from Black Ops 3, where you have to place a bomb down and defend it until it actually explodes. When that happens, the last and final task is to escort a tank. This is what you see in this trailer. This is the final task to complete. And of course, if you're wondering whether you can or cannot control the tank, you cannot control the tank, since that is AI controlled. However, you can get up on the tank's mini turret and just try to do your best with it, but you're also really exposed to gunfire. Also, if you think that this tank is in other game modes as well, it isn't. It's just specific to this war mode. The way this works is exactly like Safeguard from Black Ops 3. Where you will have to be next to the tank in order to actually advance, because if you're far away from it, the Axis can even push it back. So this war mode is extremely objective based heavy, and because of that, you're not allowed to use any score streak whatsoever in this game mode. So this was pretty much everything. Some of my thoughts about the game so far. I'm actually really hyped. I was really afraid that this game will be really slow paced, but from what it looks like, it is actually pretty fast paced for being a boots on the ground game. And there's always a lot of action. I love the fact that there are no more favoring the noobs, you know, with stupid specialists, which means if you're bad at the game, it just means you're bad at the game, which means there's nothing the game will do to actually get you some kills, which I'm extremely hyped about because I really wanted a Call of Duty that is mostly based around gun skills. So far the game looks really good, I'm really excited about it. Last thing I want to mention, and when I say this I speak to my fellow PC players and PC community, I really hope that this game will be well optimized. And lastly, I really hope that we won't have an FPS cap to like 90 like we had in, you know, Infinite Warfare, because I don't think that would be too great since it could break the game. And hopefully the FOV or the field of view will be legit in the game and it will work as it's supposed to. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, make sure to leave a comment with the word penguin. Other than that, hope you guys have a great day, stay well, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.